I personally chose to take a bunch of my team members and promote them and give them additional capabilities within the business and responsibilities. And within 90 days, they took Stats to a waitlist. So they're doing the job I was doing better because they're hyper focused, right?
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Your Customer, Your Success. My guest today is Jennifer Staats. Jennifer is the Chief of Staff at SureSend, an AI-powered CRM built by operators who spent decades coaching high-performing teams. Before joining SureSend, Jennifer spent over a decade as the founder of Staats Solutions, an operations and marketing consulting agency working inside dozens of real estate firms, mortgage teams, and service businesses across the country. Her work has been featured in Yahoo Finance, MarketWatch, CBS, Real Trends, and more, and she is a contributing author to the best-selling essay collection, Owning It. Her focus is simple: what it actually takes to get a team to do the right things every day. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. And you have quite the interesting background. So to get everybody kind of grounded and situated, does it sound like Jennifer has 3 jobs? Well, kind of. Now, most of my guests have a lot of things to do. And I always say I get exhausted kind of thinking of everything my guests do. But you actually own your own firm and have a full-time job. Is that correct?
I do. Yep. Yeah, that was as of January. I took on a full-time role as chief of staff.
And do you recommend that to the audience?
I don't. I would say it's a little crazy. Like my brain is always going, but it was my choice. It was a great decision for me. I'm really excited about it. It took a lot of preparation to get there.
It did. And this will make sense to everybody in the next 20 minutes to a half hour, I'm sure. And we'll get to that background. It's fascinating. But I had to have you on just because your background is so interesting and you own a company and have a full-time job. So let's start it off with this. You basically you have a very operationally focused background. You've walked into multiple brokerages, real estate firms, mortgage teams, and a lot of them have invested in coaching and the tools and the people. And I'd assume the same patterns keep showing up. And so, what is the most common kind of operational mistake you see these owners make when they're trying to grow past 5 or 10 people?
Yeah, I mean, I think us as entrepreneurs, there's so many mistakes we can make, right? So it's hard sometimes to pick the number one thing because we can even consistently make the same mistake over and over again as our business grows. It just seems like you're not prepared because a lot of us have never done this before. So a lot of times what I see is like one of the biggest mistakes is we're going to get in our own way. And we're also not going to be open to the fact that our business is going to need to evolve. So what we did as a solopreneur is going to be different than what we need to do when we have 1 employee. It's going to be different when we have 5 employees. And especially in the day of like AI and everything, like you need to be able to evolve with your business, learn from yourself, learn from your employees. So that's kind of one of the big things is like really just seeing these business owners be that bottleneck of their business.
And we've talked about that before, and that's why one of the reasons I wanted to have you here, because we've touched on this topic a number of times, and I think your take on it's fascinating. So let's actually get to what this actually looks like in the correct practice. So you have an operations management firm. You said businesses need some sort of daily rhythm, a cadence where every person knows exactly what they should be doing and what should be happening. Walk me through what the good version looks like and what you have helped companies do over the years.
Yeah, because I strongly believe that a lot of us as entrepreneurs just feel like when you hire someone, they don't care as much. They don't care that they have like a daily routine. I feel like that's kind of just what we assume. But truly, there's a 2-way street there. So setting up good systems and good processes and good tech is going to allow your employee or team member to show up on a Tuesday, log in, know exactly what they're supposed to do. And then on the other side of it, as you're growing, right? Because I'm always looking at firms with a growth perspective. Okay, if we're going to do this piece of tech, can it grow with me or am I going to outgrow it in a year and I'm going to have to redo it again? So do they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis? And then on the flip side of it, can you have a transparency and see what they're doing on a very high level? I'm not talking about micromanaging. I'm saying like,
Mm.
can you pull reports? Can you see task lists? All of those things. And like, can those task lists be tweaked as your business grows too in an easy fashion? To me is really important for your entire team to be able to collaborate and track and do their job efficiently.
So yeah, and in my background, I've kind of felt this tug of war, right? Where I've gone into the office and I've got a whole list of things I want to do today. And then there might be a whole bunch of things my manager wants me to do today. And then, oh yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of things more importantly that my client needs me to do today. And you feel the chaos being stuck in between. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, definitely. Because I just feel like you don't want these two different ways of thinking, right? You want to be able to have it all in one place for the most efficient and like it builds culture too. Like, are we all seeing the same thing? Are we all working up towards the same thing?
And so that's where you built your business around the not the role you're playing now, but the business that you own. That's basically what you built, a fractional operational consulting company. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
And,
So, I mean, what we do can do a little bit of everything, but a lot of it truly is back to like the basics of do we have systems for things? Can they be repetitive? Can we, scale the business and helping the business owner figure out like, okay, I have no systems. You do. I can guarantee you have them in your brain. Let's sit down and make a really simple checklist and then it can grow with you. So, yeah, that's kind of the basis of what we do with a lot of our clients, just kind of like helping them see their vision and putting it down on paper.
and so from that, you've you've taken this new role, which was a client of that company,
Mm-hmm.
and but you still own that company, and
I
they're
do.
off. Basically, you're practicing what you preach, right?
Yep.
Because you've got the operations running smoothly with the team that was there. Maybe you made some additions, or you tell me
Mm-hmm.
how did that work?
Yeah, it was a long process. So I had pretty solid systems before I decided to take a role, but I was still involved, right? So that's totally different, right? If I'm still working 40 hours and I'm constantly in Slack and on my text messages or whatever, so it's like, yeah, I think I'm working 40 hours, but who knows what that actually looks like. It took some planning to go, okay, if I am unavailable for most of the time and I'm only available a couple hours a week to work on the business, what needs to be in place in order for me to do that? And just like we said earlier, the team knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. Like they need minimal oversight from me. What needs to happen in the customer journey, what needs to happen with billing, right? Like there's a lot of things as I started to really piecemeal out my role. And I personally chose to take a bunch of my team members and promote them and give them additional capabilities within the business and responsibilities. And within 90 days, they took stats to a waitlist. So they're doing the job I was doing better because they're hyper focused, right? Like
Mm.
I would come in on a weekly basis, I would do the invoicing, I would do the payroll, I would do the sales calls, I would like oversee the marketing team, I would like jump on client calls. So I was wearing a lot of hats where now my management team, one person's doing business development, one person's doing marketing, one person's in charge of the clients. And so now they're so hyper focused, they know exactly what they're supposed to do and they're doing it really well. And I'm able to see it really high level and then focus on this other role full time.
Brilliant. And she practices what she preaches. There you go. So good for you. Awesome. And now you have a new role at SureSend, and we're
Hmm.
talking a CRM here. And I'm gonna start talking about the CRM
Yeah.
now. All right. I'm just gonna preface this with lots of people struggle with CRMs, and I'm sure that's why you've come up with your product. But
Yeah.
this, you're basically saying this CRM is going to it should be sitting at the center of all your client relations and all that. And a lot of them are clunky. I've had experience in a big company where a new one was implemented, and it was, I will just say it, a disaster.
Hmm.
And so, tell me, let's just start with this. What do most people get wrong about what the role the CRM is actually playing in their business? What it should be doing to set the right perspective, and then we're going to talk about how yours is different and how it works.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of go back before I answer that question, like, why do most people not use their CRM?
Yeah.
Like that every single business tells you, you come in here, you're going to make calls, you're going to use the CRM. they're probably not trained on it. They don't understand what it's going to do for them, right? And so people just don't use it. And so regardless of SureSend, if you use it or not, I always say the best CRM is the one you're going to use.
Right.
I don't even care what it does for you. If you're going to use it consistently, it's going to be better than anything. Like that, hands down. Because that's the first question I ask with anybody I talk to is like, okay, what's your CRM? I don't use one. It's in my iPhone. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to work for you by yourself. It's not going to work. You're going to hit a huge roadblock when you're trying to scale that business because it's only living in your iPhone. It can't go anywhere else.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, a lot of CRMs are clunky. Some take like degrees and stuff to set them up and use it. That's going to be really hard for your sales team to use, right? If it's going to take months and months and months to teach them how to make a phone call or log a note in the CRM, I could bet you your sales team is not going to use it, right?
Right.
They're not, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I've worked at Century 21 and stuff, and I went to go use some of their tech, and it's sitting there like a little wheel. And I'm like, well, forget logging my
Yeah.
note person. So really what we're doing at SureSend is we're making something that can be as basic or as fancy as you want it to be, something that you can build for your business to do the work like you want to do, which really makes it different, right? So instead of coming into the CRM being like, well, we used to call, I don't know, have different stages. We used to say like, oh, this one's under contract, but over here it says something different. You can customize it to whatever you want. So if your sales funnel looks like one way over here, you can match it up exactly in SureSend the way that you want it to work. That way you're not recreating the wheel, right? Because that's
Mm.
the other thing is like, oh, well, I like having these different stages. I like, red, green, yellow, or, hot, cold, warm, whatever you want it to be. You can customize those stages and email templates and everything. So it's your voice, it's your sales, it's exactly how you want it to be.
And that's what I found incredibly annoying about most of these products is that just that is what we did was very specific and we didn't have the right categories for client issues, client problems because, there's complicated stuff in investment operations and there's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm not going to bore everybody, but class actions issues and dividend issues and I mean, so how do you categorize them? And they don't have specific categories for all these investment operations. So it was a nightmare to get these things logged
Mm-hmm.
in at times, and that made people not want to use them, but you had to use them, which created friction between the management and the staff. And you spent your day talking about how you get things in and what's on there and what's not on there, and why didn't you put something in there rather
Mm-hmm.
than focusing on your clients and taking your business forward, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty common issue with like the
Right.
people that are doing the customer service, they're doing the sales. They don't want to do all the stuff, right? They don't want to do all the data entry. So we've got a lot of different tools within SureSend that are fixing that.
So walk us through how is this specifically designed? Well, it sounds like it's more generally designed, but your background's like in real estate and mortgages. Is this
Hmm.
focused on that industry or
No. So
okay?
yeah, so it's industry agnostic. Anybody can use the CRM. I'm going to be switching Staats Solutions to SureSend also. So, I mean,
Mm,
we obviously deal with real estate, but we're not realtors.
okay.
So what's nice about it is you can do whatever you want with it. Um, Most of us that have started SureSend are real estate. We have a lot of real estate background. So a lot of the users right now are agents just because that's our following. So I would say it's like 80% agents right now,
Okay.
20% lenders. And we do have a lot of other service-based businesses that are coming in there as well. So yeah, we can service anyone. And that's kind of our goal with SureSend is that we didn't want it to just be one industry. We wanted to build something that made sense for all industries.
Mm. But real estate in particular is interesting, right? Because we talked and I saw in some of your material, is there a failure rate of new agents that's over 80%?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so what's going on there, and how will a CRM help new agents grow or develop business? Like, kind of, go ahead and talk about how this would help a real estate or a mortgage servicing
Yeah.
firm.
The failure rate is really high. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's because the like barrier to entry to get a license is so low that people just go in and they get it. And that's part of it, I think, right? Like
Yeah, I've read that.
I was talking to someone the other day that's like, yeah, I got my license just to like help buy my house to save a little bit of money. I really just liked looking at houses and like touring and da da da. And I'm like, that's a lot of people, right? But then you get into the business, you realize it's really difficult, right? Like you become the marketer and the CRM builder and the salesperson and the bookkeeper, right? It's a lot. And so I think a lot of people fail too because like they don't know where to start. They're like, okay, I need to go record a TikTok or I need to just call everyone, right? And so it can be various reasons, right? You can join a brokerage or a team and they're not giving you the setup or the training you need to actually do business. So you're just signing into things going, what do I do? And so to me, a really well set up CRM is really where you're going to see success, right? Like I was just telling a new broker yesterday, he was calling Jennifer. Where do I start? I'm starting a new team. Like, how do I do this? And I said, okay. He's like, I have no money though. I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. I was like, okay, you on the basic levels, you need a CRM, you need a website. A CRM, you need to put all of your people in there. You need to be able to track your communication. And like my basic level thing is like, you need a pixel on your site so you can see activity. And if you don't know what that is, it's like something installed in the back of the website. So then it's connected to your CRM and you can see which pages they're viewing. You can see they're back on your website. It's gold. Like if you don't have that on your website, you need that on your database.
Mhm.
Because if you have a list of like my database is 14,000 people, I'm not going to call 14,000 people, right? Like that's crazy. I need to know the top 20 people to call today. So with something like that, with a good CRM, you can have your CRM tell you, here's the top 20 people that you need to call today because of maybe they're new leads, maybe they're active on your site, maybe they've inquired, right? Now all of a sudden, you and or your salesperson or the new agent, they're doing more business because they can be more intentional about the business they're actually engaging with versus like just guessing. Well, I haven't called Betty Sue in a while. I don't think. I'm not sure. She's in my iPhone, but I'm not sure the last time I talked to her, right? That's the difference between working out of a CRM or not working out of a CRM. And I do strongly believe that's why a lot of new agents fail is because they just don't have that. They're wasting their time. They don't know who to check in with. They don't know how to track things. More often than not, they do one deal and they never follow up with that person again. It's pretty common.
Yeah. And so, but the management tools are super important as well.
Yes.
And we talk a lot about client tracking, client issues, and um, clients and scorecards and things like that. So, what's
Mm-hmm.
your take on that? The importance of that, and what's overlooked in that world?
Yeah. So we use SureSend to sell SureSend and to service SureSend clients. So what's funny about it is like we are dealing with onboarding our clients into SureSend with SureSend. So on the management side of stuff, right? Because I've obviously got a lot of stuff going on. Like right now, while I'm recording this podcast, there's stuff happening. But what's nice is I can log into SureSend. I can go in there. I can say, someone can say, hey, this person's having an issue. I can go in there. I can look at the call recording. I can look at the notes. I can look at all of the email thread that's been happening between, you know, customer service, billing, development. I can see it all in one place. And I can make a really high overview decision on what's going on, right?
Right.
Without that, I would have been like, hey, I need everyone to forward me email threads. I need screenshots. I need all of these things, which is not a way, it's a huge waste of time on everyone's part. But I could take 5 minutes, I could look at it and be like, okay, this really is on our team. Someone needs to jump on, they need to help it. So no matter what industry you're in, whether you're looking at sales, you're looking at customer service, it's nice to have a really quality CRM with you as a business owner or management to be able to track numbers, look at tasks, look at conversations, and see exactly what's happening on the sales side or customer service or whatever you're looking at.
And so this is why I did your background first, right? Because now this becomes super important for you because you own a company. You're still the owner of a company, but you're not really doing the operations,
Uh
and
huh.
you have to stay in touch with them.
Yep.
So let's turn it to leadership a little bit. I got to kind of change pace a little. So your role as owner of that firm. How often do you meet with those people, and what do you kind of take into those meetings? And I'm sure this helps you focus those meetings more intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But just take us through kind of what your view is, what your role is as a leader of that organization now that you have a full
Yeah.
time job.
Yeah, I mean, we have very segmented meetings. So the way that our company is structured is we have like managers of teams and then we have people in charge of different things. So what we do is we kind of like meet monthly on the mini teams. Then we meet monthly about marketing. We meet monthly about business development. And then our entire leadership does a quick, and each of these meetings are 30 minutes.
Mm.
Generally, they don't even go the full 30 minutes because it's very much so like rapid fire. They've all met with their teams internally at least once or twice a week. So there's a lot of communication there on like what's happening with the clients, what's going on. We also have a whole Slack, not just channel, but like an account with like tons of
Yeah.
things going on that I have visibility on also. So I've already known what's going on before these meetings. So it's not like it's new information for me. And so we just do quick 15, 30-minute check-ins about very specific topics to make decisions. I find as a leader, that's more valuable because if I schedule an hour-long meeting, we'll take it, we'll go off on tangents. I find not only with myself, but my clients too, right? Everybody has their favorite topic to talk about. It could be operations, it could be marketing, it could be social media, it could be whatever. And if you allow someone to go off on that tangent, now all of a sudden this hour-long meeting without like a really, good agenda is only talking about that one thing. So generally when we're doing anything with anyone, we're very specific. We're trying to make it quick. We try to make it concise because I don't want to waste everybody's time.
Yeah. And that's no easy task depending on there's no easy task no matter what you're doing. But for a lot of what you do, sticking to 30 minutes is really, really hard because you don't really it goes so fast.
Yeah.
So how have you ingrained that kind of culture in your team? Because it sounds like you've got it rolling. That's what you want. That's what you like. That's what works, and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy because you always got the one person that just takes the floor and kind of keeps rolling with it, and you're
I, I've
right.
had,
And that was me a lot of the times, by the way. So I'm not.
yeah, I've had a few of those, and usually when I do have team members, like I'm an open door policy. If my team members, like if you were to ask any of my team members right now, we have very little turnover. They know they can always talk to me about something. Like if they're actually calling me on the phone when we don't have a meeting, I'm like, there is like an actual emergency, but I'll take the call, right?
Right.
Um, but one of the things I do with my team members is if I'm noticing that we're having meetings that are just going too long, we're going off the agenda, I always hit that head on because of a multiple reasons, right? Like first thing is we're wasting all of our time, the stats time.
Mhm.
The second is my leaders all meet with other leaders. They all meet with other CEOs. They all meet with our clients, stuff like that. So if they're being ineffective in our calls, they probably are on the client's time also. So I want to really remind everyone like, hey, is this something that we needed to talk about today? Did we need to deep dive into this on a call? There's 10 of us on a call. Does that make sense? Right. And really just making them aware of it makes a big difference. Like, hey, you've got 4 other people. If you figure that times their salary, we're wasting a lot of time there. Let's be as effective as possible. They also know that my schedule is so tight. They only have 30 minutes. There's no chance of going over. So I'm always going to be like, hey, I've got a hard stop. So a lot of it's culture, like them understanding they've already communicated a lot of these things. We're really just touching base and having like some face-to-face time. And setting standards too. Like, hey guys, we can't keep doing that. We also do yearly just fun calls. We do trivia, which the team really, really likes. We do a really long like trivia thing. We do a raffle. We give bonuses. And so like that's the time for us like sharing and playing and having fun. And then they also do a lot of stuff in Slack and like internally. But those leadership calls, like we need to be to the point as much as we can.
Yeah, no, understood, and very interesting. And I just wanted to delve into that a little bit. So, you're on two sides of this coin, so to speak, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
you're pulling it all together. And so, what what can you say you've learned with having this new role, running a company at the same time, and kind of balancing both? So, has it taught you anything new, unique, interesting that might be of use to the audience?
Probably giving myself grace.
Mm.
Like there's so many times that like I'm looking at my task list and I'm being like, there is absolutely no way I can get it all done today. Right? There's just stuff pops up. It was like, I think Monday of this week at SureSend, I came in, I was like, wow, I have no meetings. I'm going to get so much work done. And then the Monday morning email started rolling in, right? So like what I thought I was going to do that day isn't feasible at that point. So I find myself more now than before looking at my task list and being like, what actually needs to happen today, right? Like what is really has a action. Did I just set these due dates because it sounded fun to get it done today? Or is this going to affect my team by not getting it done? Is it going to affect a deadline by not getting it done? And prioritizing those things first and then pushing the other ones where I think before, like, I'm like, no, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to, put the pedal to the metal. But there's a lot of times where that just, it wasn't on my task list before. I have to put out fires. I have to help employees. I have to help customers. So I think that's been a big one. It's just giving myself some grace that I just can't do everything exactly when I wanted it to and kind of prioritizing what's actually important.
Yeah. And that is hard. And it's hard for anybody in any role, but having the dual roles like that, it's got to be tough. So great one. All right. So we've got time for one more on the traditional interview portion of the show. And if there's a business leader listening out there to this episode right now, running a team, I don't know, let's say 10 or 20 people, and they can feel that, kind of operating rhythm being off, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, and it's slipping and they don't really know how to name it, but they know something's wrong, right? What's the one thing you want them to do differently this week?
Think about yourself. Think about what you can do to better yourself, or think about how you're behaving in certain situations. Because I think a lot of us as business owners and leaders, we're going so fast that a lot of it takes self-realization. And so when you really look at the situation that might be going wrong, or maybe it's stressing you out, or maybe you want to improve something, I oftentimes want to look at myself first before I look at the system and the process and the issue with the employee and see how it's making you feel, see how you're behaving, see how you're behaving in that situation. I oftentimes tell a lot of people, like, when we got a new employee or something and they're training and they're not getting it, they're like watching a training video and they're just like, I don't get it. The first thing I say is, our training video needs to be better. I don't say it's the employee.
Mm-hmm.
Our training video needs to be better. We need to make sure that that's solid before we go and, I'm going to say attack, but it wouldn't be attack. It's like go after that person. So I want you to look at, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a leader, look at yourself first. How can you better yourself in that situation to improve it? And then dig into the other stuff.
Yeah. No, interesting. Great answer. And just out of curiosity, do you have a coach? Because I think it's hard for people to do that themselves. And we've had a number of people come and talk about it. It's hard to do it alone. And sometimes you need a really good coach or a mentor or something like that.
I don't. It's crazy. I do not have a coach. I've done a couple different like coaching programs, more on specific things I wanted to work on versus like an actual coach that meets with me weekly. So a little different, right? Right now I'm in a coaching program for just kind of working on myself personally. I've also done some like visibility coaching and stuff like that to kind of work on like that piece of it. So you do need some help. And if it's not like a one-on-one coaching every week, maybe it's something, just a very small part of your business or self that you want to improve.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because a lot of people are reluctant to go that direction, but it is hard to do it alone. So good for you. You've figured a lot out on your own, and you do a lot. And terrific beginning section of the show. But it is time to hit the segments. Let's roll the segments. You ready?
Okay.
All right. All right, everybody. It is time for Does It Hold Water, my favorite segment. This is where I ask our guests to be our resident expert witness for the day. Channel their inner Mona Lisa Vito, as it were. And yes, I did watch My Cousin Video over the weekend. We're on vacation with no streaming, so I caught the end of it. But we're going to ask you, I have a quote for you. Actually, I can quote the person. You ready? This comes from Bill McDermott, the CEO of ServiceNow. And he says, agentic AI is an extinction level event for traditional CRM systems of record. Does the defense case hold water?
Hmm. I would say it does not hold water.
And why not?
I think we're going to continue to see this grow. I don't think we're going to see it extinct anytime soon. I think we're just going to see it become better and better. I would love to see why he's saying that specifically, like what piece of technology he's thinking is going to like make this extinct. But I'm just seeing that it's going to continue growing.
Yeah, and I think what he's saying is the key word is traditional CRM systems of record. So I
Okay.
think what you're saying is they're going to continue to evolve, which is what
Yeah.
you're doing. Because
Yeah.
is there an AI component to what you're doing?
There is. Yeah, there is. And so if he's saying traditional, like old
Y-
school, like they're not
yes,
willing to evolve into AI, I maybe do agree. Maybe it does hold water. But yeah, I would say, I mean, we're just going to see AI continue to get better and
right.
continue to grow.
I think that that is what he was saying, but I was just curious as to your take on that and the role of AI in what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it on the show. I use AI, I love AI as much as I can, but it's still a challenge in a lot of industries, and it doesn't always work right. So I don't
Yep.
know if that's been working for you or not. You're just starting to evolve it, or where you're at with it.
Yeah.
But you tell me.
Yeah, we've got a lot of different either already built in the CRM or that we're launching really soon. Whether it's just AI call recap, so you can see exactly what needs to happen. There's a lot of information that can be pulled into the CRM, and then we're also working on some exciting things coming up in the next couple of months, where like AI can do some of the calls and texts and stuff for you too.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned for that. All right.
Yeah.
Good one. Let's hit chip shots. All right, everybody, it's time for chip shots. These are our shorter form questions, a little bit more personal nature, yet still professional. We try to go with 3 or 4 time per minute. You ready? We start with the book question, Jennifer. What is one book that has significantly influenced you in your professional or personal life?
So I'm going to say Traction. And it's interesting because I've read it 3 times now, and each time I've applied it. Obviously, I have different things, right? So, like, I've applied it as a business owner, and then now I'm applying it as an operator. So, it's that one's been like mind blowing to look at it from the two different aspects and apply it differently to the two different businesses. So, that's been fun.
What is that book by who? I'm not familiar with it.
So it's like a EOS book. So it's about, so Traction's basically teaching you like who's your integrator, who's your visionary, how the two of them work together.
Yeah.
And so that has been really fun for me to do it multiple times, because obviously the first time I was a visionary and the second time I'm the integrator. So it's been really just like an interesting read to go through a couple times.
That is fascinating. Great one.
Mm-hmm.
And from your perspective, absolutely fascinating. Great one. All right. So this means my next question, which you're a wonderful leader, obviously, and you've got all sorts of things going on. If you could spend a day shadowing a current leader in any profession or industry, who would it be, and what would you hope to learn?
So I think a lot of people would come up with some sort of celebrity or famous person or whatever. I have like zero insight on famous people. They could walk up to me and they have previously, and I don't know who the heck they are. You could tell me their name, the song they sung, the whatever. Like it doesn't resonate with me. So I would probably say more so like I would want to pick a couple really powerful, maybe not like high level business owners, but pretty like successful and ones with families, and just kind of be able to shadow them like for a couple days and see how like different entrepreneurs run their meetings and their businesses and their families and that type of thing. I think that would be fun to see.
Yeah, more realistic and ground level, because right,
Hmm.
we do get usually the more celebrity
Yeah.
type answers, which is interesting. But the question is designed to have you answer it just that way. So that's a
Yeah.
fabulous answer. And I'm with you. I don't know who sings what songs. I never thought it would
Yeah.
happen.
I have no
And
idea.
because I grew up in the MTV generation, right, where you knew every song, every artist, what the album was. We listening to the radio, and my kids are in the car where we have the satellite radio, and they know every song and they know the words, and I have no idea who these people are. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little old in that regard.
No.
And who are the Rolling Stones, Dad? Oh my god! So Led Zeppelin, what? All right, so All right, let's keep it rolling. Is there a particular experience or failure early in your career that taught you a valuable lesson you still use today?
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest failure was when I first started hiring. I feel like I didn't show up for some of my employees the way I wanted to, right? Like I would prioritize other things over meeting with them and showing up like they needed me to. And that's really followed me throughout my career. Like, oh, I'm not going to move that meeting because like their time is just as important as my time. So I think being really cognizant of that has really made me grow as a leader. But I remember the point in time where I did that and that employee quit because of it.
Oh no.
And it's followed me for like 9 years now, I think.
Yeah. Well, look, you remember those things. It drove an emotion in you, and
Hmm.
it's helpful and it's helped you correct. So some things happen for a
Yep.
reason, unfortunately, and well, I'll learn. So thank you. That's a very honest answer and a great one. All right, last one. What is the one question you ask clients that never fails to deliver?
What is the one question that I ask them? I'm going to flip it and say the one question that they ask me is, what am I supposed to delegate to you?
Mm.
They don't know how. They don't know how to work with someone else, right? They're like, well, I do it all. How am I going to have anybody else help me with all of this? I would say that does it. That's the one question that I would bring up.
And it's because it's all in here, not
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is
Mm-hmm.
which is what you're doing now. I mean, get it out
Yeah.
of here, put it in there,
Yeah.
and you can run a little bit more efficiently. Awesome,
Mm-hmm.
great answer, Jennifer Stats. Great guest. Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you let the audience know where they can find you?
Yeah. Anybody that's listening, I mean, I love helping other entrepreneurs and leaders. So if you want to reach out to me personally, you just want to send me a message and get some help or feedback, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Jennifer the Realtor. So very easy to find me. And then if you just want to check out SureSend CRM, we do have a 14-day free trial. You can go to suresend.ai, start that free trial. We'll fully onboard you, have like one-on-one to support you in your business, and let us know what you think.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you all for watching your customer success. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, there is the audio available on all major audio platforms. And if you're listening on audio, don't forget there's a YouTube video. So again, thank you for watching today. We'll be back with more CX leader, customer success leaders, and all sorts of interesting people like Jennifer real soon. That's all for today. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope you found something insightful that will enhance your experiences and drive your success. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a review and share your thoughts to help us improve the show. Don't forget to head on over to maracxhub.com for more ways to connect with me and learn more about experience management. Until next time, I'm Gary Mara, working hard for your customer and your success.